Here we go, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. We are going to crush it today. No, I'm joking.
We are going to crush it. But first, we have some updates. It's been a fun time. By the time we're recording this, it's April 16th. But we want to share with you some cool things about the run and then life. So share with you know that Chris is on a running streak if you've been listening to the podcast. So what day is coming up?
We're just coming close to 1,200, so it feels really cool. The last article we had written about us was day, I think, 800, and I think by the time it was published, it was 880 or something.
Week.
So it looks cool looking back and going like, wow, it's been 400 more days of serious running, and we're getting into the half. We just finished the half marathon for 90 days, which is 13.1 miles, and now we're in the 14 miles, and we've ran some 18 milers just to test it, and it's pretty good and easy. I say that now, just wait. It won't be easy. But
give us a few months.
Because I say that now, I'll have something come up. But yeah, so it's just been an amazing experience to hit 1,200 days and to look and go. And then I had that friend tell me, oh man, 1,000 days is just legit. And then when I look back and I go like, oh wow, it's been 200 more days after 1,000 days, and it's just amazing. It just time flies, and especially now because we're getting, and you even put this on our Google Calendar. Mel put Chris runs America halfway through,
meaning from day number 1 of running 1 mile a day to the very last day of running around America, we just hit our halfway point. Which seems wild that the first half we've learned so much. Your body has learned that
it has.
You're pushing it. And so so now I'm wondering what the next half will look like, what we'll learn, the people will be, because we're definitely different than day number 1.
It really is amazing what we've learned. We should do, and I think we've done some of that in the past, but we really should encapsulate what we've learned over 1,200 days of doing something every day, because there's amazing transformation that has happened spiritually, mentally, physically, relationship-wise. And I think if we really take our time, we could divide that in videos, but I think at some point we should take some time and harness that energy to give it back. Because I think there's gems in there that you guys can take for your own life and implement them. Even if it's just start something so big, so small. That is such a huge and profound thing that we did this. And for years, I wanted to get started, and I'd get started, and then I'd choose something so big that it would almost just crush me in a sense of like, oh man, because I couldn't stay consistent with the big thing. And so I learned to go real small. And it's just amazing looking, even like sometimes I have clients still, and I'm like, hey, you design it this way. And they don't. And then for a few more months, they just keep doing what they were originally doing, which is like, oh man, but I'm just not doing it. And I'm like, yeah, because you made the goal so big and so daunting and so hard. Your brain goes, on a certain day, your brain goes, let's get it. And then on the next day, your brain goes, I don't want to do that again. It's like if you don't ever work out and you go to the gym for 4 hours, you're not going back the next day. For most people.
Yep. So be prepared for the energy to come back to you then. We're going to set that up. That's a good idea. And along with the run, you have some fun sponsorship, executive assistant things going on right now in the works.
Yeah.
So share some of that.
Obviously having a baby, because some of the things that we were crushing it on have slowly slowed down, for lack of a better way. And so because...
For a good reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For the most meaningful reason, to raise a child and to be whole inside ourselves. The point is not to do these things to lose yourself. The point is to not even find yourself, but create yourself. So if we lose ourselves in these things just to do these things, it's not worth it. So anyways, we have a coach that we work with, I work with for business. And so he suggested an executive assistant. So we got connected to a company. We started reaching out to sponsors. Before the executive assistant, we reached out to some sponsors. And so we have one where we're creating the proposal for them. And so we're kind of, in between the proposal negotiations, part of the process. And then we also have the executive assistant. So, and I called you while I was running, but she did amazing work all over the last couple of days. And so we're reaching out to more people, and that's already happening today. So we have our top 10 that we're going after right now to reach out to today to start to build a relationship.
With that to build a relationship, the best way that we have seen and have understood, and you've watched videos and I've walked in on you watching a few videos about sponsorship and finding them, is it really is like dating. When you date, unless you're in Utah, you don't marry right away. But you get to know them. You build some trust. You understand expectations. And there's a building period of the relationship. And that's the same thing with sponsors, because as much as we want their money for us to do something great, we want to make sure they are taken care of as well. Because otherwise, that's not what we're going for. There's no point for that. So it's interesting to get to understand the process of that.
So I love that. So that triggers something. There was a guy named Orrin Woodward, which I was part of MLM, which was an incredible company. I learned so much. I learned so much personal development. I learned a lot about business. And that was really one of the first businesses. Because I want to be transparent. Like, I've worked on other businesses and helped other people in their businesses before doing my own business. Because there's always people out there that like coach. And they're like, oh, I went from 0 to $1 million in, 18 months. And then you find out, well, like, no, they already had a business that they built into $1 million. So they clearly had foundation. They knew people. It wasn't like they just woke up one day and said, I should do business. And then went from, and I want to be transparent, right? We learned stuff from other businesses before this business. But Orrin said he was reading a relationship book, and he said, I learned more about being a good businessman from the relationship book than I did from like 10 business books I read. And you're right. We can get focused on the money, but that's the outcome. And right now we are focused in the season of inputs and making ourselves better and building those relationships. And you're right. Everything in business is a relationship. Right? Like when we first got into business, I think you think like, oh, I'm going to go introduce myself. They're going to get to know me. I'm going to close a deal. But that's just not how most deals work. And at least in this industry, it's not how it works. And so it's very fun and I think it's more meaningful to build a relationship, because now I think about some of these people in the business and thinking about them like coming along on the journey. And they're like, it's not just a you or me thing. It's now a we thing. So it becomes this huge growing relationship of success for everybody. And that makes it way more fun to do than just by yourself. It's like Mel said, and I just want to back up what Mel said. It is so important to establish relationships. And it goes back to dating. It goes back to dating or building friendships. You're only looking for the people that you really connect and relate to. Even when I was running today, I thought, man, we could get sponsors, but you only really want to get if you're building like an image or a brand or something that people are referencing and going like, this is the type of company you run. You want the sponsorships to be those type of people that are with you. You don't want just some like, hey, Dave's dog poop pickup company, they sponsor me. That's fine, and it's okay if you need to do that for certain parts. But really, you want to get dialed in, and that's what we've really been good at.
It kind of makes me think, maybe this is a stretch, but when I watch an animated movie, because we have a daughter and she's young and she watches a lot of them, but sometimes it's just an animated movie, but because Matt Damon is the voice, I'm more interested because I like Matt Damon's work. Great point. And I know that he wouldn't do something that's so obscure that I wouldn't enjoy. So I think of it that way, that you want people, sponsors that are like maybe reputable and have a good business motto and have great interactions with everyone that they interact with, because then it makes everyone else feel like, this is legit. I'll enjoy this. Just knowing that they're involved, I already know I'll enjoy it.
Yeah, Matt Damon did Downsizing, so I will say he doesn't do all good movies. But what your point was still a great point. I love that.
You haven't watched it, although you're a horse guy, and so is your dad. But Spirit, the Cimarron of the Sahara, whatever it is.
We watched Real Horses. We did watch Hidalgo, though. You had me watch that. I've now watched that a couple of times. That's really good. It's about a horse.
I do have to finish that.
What? You've never finished it?
No, last time we watched it.
Oh, okay.
Chris is in a habit of finishing movies without me, because you stay up late and you party and I go to bed.
That is what I stay up late and party.
How many times Chris has fallen asleep on our couch and not come to me?
Especially the new one is so nice. It's so nice and comfy.
Another update. Do you have anything more on that?
No.
Another update is, since our family is growing, our oldest is turning 3 tomorrow, and that feels so crazy. So she's 3. but it's not like we have a party all day long and she understands it's all for her. She's just gonna have a good day tomorrow. So if she wants stuff, we're probably gonna say yes unless it's way too crazy, but she'll wake up to some balloons and have a lot of fun. And it's funny too, because we've had a lot of people come into town to meet our new baby, and Chris's mom came into town, and we did a lot of birthday celebrations. We wore birthday hats. We went to a
2 days I wore birthday hats.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Like, we stretched the birthday thing, that's what his mom does. So she's like, it's birthday month. That you guys took her to go get frozen yogurt, and you think, oh, she's 3. She loves candy. She loves everything sweet. So you think you're gonna pick her up and say, what do you want to put on it? And she'll have a giant bowl of everything. She's so basic sometimes. All she got was a little bit of pink and a little bit of white ice cream.
For real, no toppings. We went through the toppings, no toppings. She's like, I want a little birthday cake, which never had that flavor, I don't think, before. And then she went with strawberry. And I mean, and literally,
it was like,
it's like soft serve. So it just, it's like little U's because they're so small. She took such little amounts. It had to be like a couple bucks, I'm assuming.
And sometimes I want to encourage her, like, are you sure you don't want this? This will really make you know it's your birthday. But she's a simple girl. She just wants what she wants, and she's very basic about it. So I'm wondering how it'll look like next year when she has specific interests and we have a specific party and a theme, because she's still in the age where she doesn't really know. Like, she'll be happy if she gets a little bowl of ice cream, and that's probably good.
And we will be giving her a bowl of ice cream.
Yes.
Her favorite kind.
Yes. So that's a fun update, little family thing.
Do you want to talk about, like, it? Because there are, even looking at her today when she's sitting out there, we talked about her shirt and her little hair and her monkey, and she just looks so little kiddish. But there's, now because we have a second kid, I reflect more on her being a little kid. And I go like, oh man, and we look back at photos and stuff, and I go, oh, I miss that now more. She's never going to be that. I mean, not that we didn't know that then.
The second we took our baby home, she looked like a big girl. And I remember taking a shower with her once I could pick her up, after the 6 weeks or whatever. And I took a shower with her, and I was just holding her and looking at her. I thought, you're big. You're such a big girl. And I love you so much. Like, I love every stage of her. I love who she is. But I do miss little baby her. And I didn't miss that before until we brought a new baby in the home. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Now I get why parents are like, enjoy it while it lasts. Yeah. Like, of course. What else do you think I'm doing?
But we are really enjoying both of our kids while it lasts. I said that. I was coaching a group last night, and I said, man, I just love them. We were talking about things we're grateful for. And I said, I'm just so grateful for my lifestyle. And I said, while you guys are at work tomorrow, just really hating your jobs, I'm going to get to run. I'm going to get to hang out with my kids. I'm going to get to work the business that I choose. And I think it's just so profoundly amazing to have so much time with the kids and you, and just be able to be around you guys throughout the day and not just have to wait until way late in the evening when I'm exhausted to put energy into our relationships.
That's a great segue into what we're going to talk about a little bit more of, is relationships. And we have had them, and they're just very common to have seasons in your relationship. There's some people that have at 3 years you start to lose interest, and you have the honeymoon phase and stuff. And that's kind of seasons that we're talking about. And
we are? Those are the seasons we're talking about?
Is that not? And then you have newborn kids. You have a season.
Breaking news.
And then you have a newborn, and then you have a season of like, this is tough. Like, maybe we're not going to spend a lot of time together. Maybe we won't cuddle on the couch as much because someone's holding a baby. And
at 3 years, I was still interested. I don't know. I didn't know where.
I'm saying these are the common things. These are not us. I'm just saying there are seasons of life, and specifically in a relationship.
For sure.
Did you want to say anything else on that?
We can talk about seasons all day. I mean, I think seasons relate to everything, right? First of all, recognizing the seasons and assigning meaning to them is extremely important. Like, do you want to talk about this? Because I think this is a good thing to jump into about it. We had a season where our marriage was really hard.
And it lasted way long.
It felt like
a few
year.
Months.
Okay, I felt like... No, I know we've said this before. I've said a year before, and you've said a few months.
It was really bad for a few months where we just bickered and just didn't see. It was just bickering. It was just not getting along. And that was right before we got our journals.
So we came up with this idea of let's journal together every night, 1 to 3 things that we love, like that you love or admire or adore or respect. Something that excites you about, something that you recognize good in them, something that you're grateful for, thankful for, So any of those type of things, we go down and we journal 1 to 3 things in the evening. Now, I want to be transparent. This has definitely fallen off since the newborn, but it will come back. We did it for about a year straight, I think.
We started on February 27th, 2024.
Okay.
And we did just about every day, every night, we would write 1 to 3 things. And then we had a new baby, and I'd like to get back into it.
We will.
Yeah.
And one thing is, if we miss a night, we did our best not to miss the next night. And in Atomic Habits, he talks a lot about like habit creation. And he said one of his standards is if he stops doing something, like if he misses a day at the gym, he makes sure he doesn't miss 2 days. And then he says, like, if you miss 2 days, you don't miss 3. But really the whole thing is get back on it. And so clearly we need to do that. And also Mel wants to have us share some of the things we've written about each other.
And also about that. Sometimes
I'm going to look for the juicy ones, by the way, just so give me time.
Sometimes Chris would be out running and I'd be ready to go to bed. So I would call him and then I would just make a note on my phone of his and mine to later put in the journals.
Great point.
So we found a way to win even on the days it was hard.
Like maybe she's exhausted. Maybe I'm running. Like she said, she calls me. We text them to each other. She'll write them for me. She'll text them in her phone and then text them to me so I can write them down. That's definitely happened more than once because I've been out running. But like Mel said, that's one of our principles for life is finding ways to win. And that's how we find ways to win.
So I'm going to randomly flip to a page. I'm going to say, oh, that's a naughty one. We also love fun things about each other. I super love when you're excited to hang out with me and Harper. We'll go back and forth. We'll do a few. Go. They're all great, so just pick one. He'll study this forever, I'm sure of it.
Well, no, are you going from the beginning?
No, I said a random page.
I'm grateful for your fun and lightheartedness.
I appreciate you running up to help Harper to go potty a few times today.
I love and admire how you keep Harper and I and all 3 of us connected.
I love talking business with you and sharing opinions about Wrexham when we were watching that show.
I love that you have a similar belief system about the world and the way we raise children.
There's a lot of children ones in here. I love that. I love political conversations with you when you go off of what I say.
I'm going to curse on this one, so everybody earmuffs. I fucking love and admire and appreciate your excitement around seeing your muscle definition grow when you're working out a lot.
It's coming back.
Like before the baby.
I am grateful you can read me well enough to be able to tell I need extra help and you step up.
This one I like. I don't know. It just happened to come up. But I love, appreciate, and adore you. You're beautiful. I agape you. And agape just simply means, so there's different types of loves in the Bible. And agape is like the deepest, richest connection love. So there's like phileo and other ones. Anyways, so that's the reason we've said we agape each other from early on.
I appreciate and adore the work you've put into your reactions and perspective when things don't go as planned.
I'm grateful that you told me that you were glad that I stopped running and went to the park with you and Harper.
I admire the content you consume. It's 85% inspirational.
So here's one that's written this year, more recent, on the 26th of April. I love how you take care of Jones, but you stop that and play with Harper for a few minutes. I know that was definitely one of your things that you were, that you wanted to make sure you gave Harper time. And I really love that you still figure out a way to do that. I know it's challenging at times.
Thanks.
Huh?
When we have more kids, I feel, how do you stretch between 3 now? Because at least one can be doing something and I can give time to the other. But 3? I'm already worried about it. Thanks for making me breakfast this morning.
I think I'll finish with this one. Okay. I love how great you are, your ability to follow through and do what you say you're going to do. So much. You do so much for me, Harper, and yourself. You're the unsung hero.
Aww. I
didn't know I was going to read that one. I didn't even know it said the unsung hero part, but now I'm going to cry.
should I read one then? We end on that. That's a good one. We'll end on that. So this has been great for us. I have shared this so many times in church. The ladies are probably annoyed with me because anytime it's how do we better ourselves each day, and how do we strengthen our relationships with those in our family, and if we just have discussions about those, I always bring up, I sit down with my husband and we write 1 to 3 things we love, admire, adore, respect, are grateful for each other, and it keeps me looking for those throughout the day. So it's making it a little more positive of a day because I'm already seeking those and I'm finding those and it's satisfied. So,
and if you really are struggling in your relationship, like any type of relationship, this happens to be a marriage, man, slow down to the speed of wisdom. And this takes literally 5 minutes a night. So right now we don't have an excuse. We're just not doing it, to be honest.
It also felt weird in the beginning. In the beginning, I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't like sitting there telling you things that I liked about you because I think I was still a little upset. It took a few days.
Yeah.
After that, it felt more normal, but it just felt weird going, you're great at this. I'm grateful you did that. When I didn't fully feel it, but I knew I was grateful.
So that's great insight. I mean, so do it even when it's uncomfortable. And I was doing an exercise with somebody again in group, and I won't disclose the name of the person, but I was having them repeat something and like make heart-brain coherence and then repeat something about themselves. And the person said, it's amazing how much easier and how much more real it felt after repeat, because I did it for 3 minutes. By the 3rd minute, how much easier and more that actually felt like it was really that person. And so I think it is, when you have those resentments, those frustrations, the arguments, it is challenging to want to look for the good. But that's what this thing does, is it hits your reticular activating system in your brain, which makes you focus and look for the good. Like you are priming every day. I prime my brain now to look for the good in Melanie throughout the day, because I know I'm going to come back to that at night and I'm going to need that info. So it feeds that deposits to my bank in my brain about Melanie to think good things, opposed to the things where I would just focus on the negative things, the weeds before.
I definitely focus on your weeds sometimes. It's not like we're perfect or anything. Which is why
not at all.
Which is why it's good to keep this habit going. And with that, you also got this box of cards, and we had one previously that we went through. I didn't love the questions as much, but this is really cool. This specific one says a year of us couples questions cards, and there are a variety of 4 different topics, and it's like psychologically, physiologically, sexual, playful.
And nothing inappropriate like sexual.
No. But it's been really fun. So, for example, we still haven't gone through all of these.
No.
This past and present. This one says, and I haven't previously read this, so if it's sucky card, don't judge it. In general, when people offer you something you're not expecting, is your natural impulse to accept their offering or turn it down? Why do you think that is?
So these are numbered 1 through 365. So you get a card every day of the year. So it's really nice when we decided we were going to do this every day, because then you can do this every day. And again, 5 or 10 minutes is all you need at night to invest in each other, to like feed the roots of the tree of that relationship to make it healthy.
And this is, sometimes these questions are so quick to answer, or we get in a fun discussion about it. One of the topics is future goals and dreams. So it'll dig into, when did you realize you had reached adulthood? And then we talk about a memory. We talk about who we were. And sometimes it goes really quick. So we're like, let's do another question. Let's do another question. And it's really fun.
It is really fun.
It's a great way to connect. So
it really is.
We have had some hard seasons. We're no doubt going to have more of them. But it's been nice that we've had this as a somewhat constant, at least recently, that's been building our relationship.
I think, though, looking at, and you went through different seasons in the beginning of talking about relationships, it's just so important for all of us to remember that, like, having the little one and figuring out that schedule is tough. Like, it's tougher on a relationship. We don't get as much time together. But when we can slow down and remember, go like, this is just a season. Like, it too shall pass. I can get frustrated. I can feel stressed. I can feel like, man, I want more time with Mel. I can want more time with Harper or Jones. Yet the truth of the matter is, it's here for a season. So find the value, and it may be like, man, we're just supposed to learn to slow down. Okay. Because winter, if you think about it, hibernation, being outside. Like winter is like a slow down, death of the tree, like the trees, everything falls. So everything has a season for a reason. And we're no different. We're not robots. And so a lot of times people want to go like, I just want, like, oh, just keep going up and everything going right. But it's just like a heartbeat. Your heartbeat doesn't just go up. It goes up and down and up and down and up and down. And there's a rhythm to that life and to relationships and to business and to running. And the more like when we were able as human beings to recognize the seasons, that's when we started to learn how to plant crops. And that's when civilization started to expand and become easier to like cultivate with each other, because now you're planting crops, I'm planting crops. We have different seasons and we're understanding, and we're like, you're feeding me, I'm feeding you. And so there's beauty to that. And so there's beauty to slow down to our relationships and understand the seasons and understand, like, even if you're in a really hard time, it doesn't have to last for long. Like literally we got these, if it was a couple months or a year, depends on perspective, doesn't matter. Let's just say it was a couple months. This literally, I feel like within a week, almost just took away all the resentment, animosity, and turned it back and directed it back towards finding love and joy and the reasons we committed to each other in the beginning.
And I also want to say we have not repeated one thing in here. There's been so many times I'm grateful that you run at certain times of the day so that you can help out with the family. I'm grateful that there a lot of things are just very repetitive, but I've found a way to look at them in a 360. And I found a lot of angles of, I am grateful for this specific aspect of what you did. And that's also really nice. And I also want to say, this is my theme for today. I also want to say that recently I told you my definition of we have hung out with each other. And your definition of we haven't hung out with each other was different. So for example, when we are hanging out with a family, I might be holding our baby and our toddler's still awake and we're watching a movie and we're all on the couch. I feel like we're all hanging out. I'm spending time with Chris. We're still having conversations here and there. And then the kids will go to bed and like, it's time I'm tired. I'm done for the day. And he goes, I haven't even hung out with you today. But to me, I go, we just hung out. We also hung out this morning when we all had breakfast. But he doesn't, just the definition of what he sees and is expecting to hang out is not the same. So that is something that was a good eye-opener of what do you actually need and what do I need and what are we not communicating on, because then we're just going to bite heads or, bite at each other about that.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. So, and we don't need to add this to this podcast, but we'll do that sometime. We'll come back to, and this started, I don't know, on our second or third day, which is crazy to think about.
What?
But the new list. So needs, expectations, wants. That's what you're really referencing is like what you need, what you expect, and what you want. And then getting clear on that, because even us both going, we need time to hang out together. That looks different. So why did you laugh? I want to know.
I just laugh because I've never dated someone like you that you go, hey, let's go hang out in the hot tub. I'll make some popcorn. We'll drink Pepsi. And let's write down our expectations and our needs and our wants. And I'm like, what the heck does this mean? I expect you to be nice to me? Like, I don't know. But one of them I specifically remember is I want you to adore me. That's a want of mine, or I would like that. And I forget everything else. But that stuck with me because I don't know if any guy has ever said, I want your adoration. Is that the right word? Is that the right noun?
Admiration?
Admiration. What's adoration?
That's a word too.
Yeah, but it's not admiration. That's the right one.
They're both, I think, very similar if you're...
English. Anyway, I've always remembered that one.
Adulation is also a word that means something very similar. Adulation means to, like, give yourself, like, ups in a sense, like, to say, like, the good things about yourself.
Perfect.
And admiration means somebody admiring you, right?
Yeah. So admiration was what I was looking for.
So any of those words, I think, work.
Anywho.
Yeah, so, but anyway.
It makes me laugh because who does that? Chris does.
But we'll we'll look at our list now that Jones is born, and we'll go back through our needs, expectations, and want lists that we have hung up, and we'll bring it to the table, and we'll have a discussion about it, and we'll hopefully give you guys, a little gift that you guys want to take and put in your own life and implement with your own kids, spouse, business partners, whoever, because it is extremely important to understand this and have this be a foundation to any healthy growing relationship that you're going to be in for a long period of time.
With that, go love on your loved ones. Go give them some kisses, give them some compliments.
Some sugar.
Go buy a journal for both of y'all.
Yeah, literally.
It's really fun.
And ours says, always believe that something wonderful is about to happen. And I thought, man, it's really cool. You get to read that before you open it. And
I've probably read that twice my whole life. But you're right. You can read that every time before you open it.
Buy her a blank one, guys. Just heads up. Buy her the blank covered one. And she can color on it. You buy yourself a nice one that says something cool on it. And then you journal together. And you have fun. And just enjoy it. And enjoy just seeing the good and feeling the good in each other. I mean, it's really profound. We can look and nitpick about all the things we don't like when we live together. Or we can look at all the good stuff. And I'm not saying there's not things to be addressed. We're not shoving anything underneath the rug. Because we've definitely worked on plenty of things. But yet, it's so much easier to work on those things, too, when you're like, your cup is just so full because every day the loved one, you're feeling love for them, they're feeling love for you. And then when there's like, hey, like, could we work on this? Oh, certainly. Like, that's not hurtful at all. Like, yes, we can. That doesn't even hardly ding it. I have so much like love armor on right now. The love armor is just so strong. Like, the little thing that feels like maybe would have taken away from me doesn't.
Well, we better do this because I have some things I need to talk to you about.
There we go.
We'll come back to you with some updates on our relationship later with all of that. But like I said, love your loved ones and catch us on the next episode.
See you then.